For my tea tonight, I fancy ribs, although I have left it a bit late, so it might be a pretty late tea. You southerners might call it dinner, up north we call it tea. I've got some of these St Luois pork ribs from Farmfoods, believe it or not. As much as I'm a fan of support your British butchers and support your British farmers, everyone seems to talk about these, and I've tried them a few times over the last couple of months, and they're so good. And they cost about 10 quid a rack. They come over from the States. The Swift brand is well known in the States, so it's not some sort of Mickey Mouse option, but yeah, for 10 quid, you can't go wrong. I'm taking a bit of a risk today. I'm using lumpwood charcoal for a long cook. It's not super long, it's not like low and slow, but it's probably a good 5-6 hours this. And I'm hoping that it sounds a bit better as well, because I've been editing the last couple of videos, and as good as that microphone is that I have on top of the camera, it sounds shocking in this echoey room, so I've got a little wireless mic on my titty. So I put a load of coal in the bottom of the barbecue on the lower grate, and then I'm just lighting half a charcoal of lumpwood, big K I'm going for today, half a chimney of coal, pour that on top, bit of a minion method, get it to temperature, get it steady, whack the ribs on. This is actually a fairly small rack of ribs, 1.37 kilos. I think I bought about 4 or 5 of these at the time. I've still got 1 or 2 in the freezer. And this is the smallest rack that I actually bought. If you have a look through the freezer, they're up to like 1.7, 1.8 kilos. Now I'm going with, I don't use Worcester sauce, so I went Tesco's own, or Worcestershire sauce as it's called. And I watched the video, I can't remember the guy's name, he's a big dude, red hair, and he was cooking with somebody else from Texas. And he calls it wash your sister sauce. It's like, wash your sister sauce? And I bought this a couple of months ago, holy cow, from Meat Church. It's basically salt, pepper, cayenne, I think is it cayenne? No, I can't remember. Salt, pepper, garlic and spice extratives, whatever that means. I think it's designed for beef. I seen the cow and thought, ooh, that'd be good on my ribs. Put it on my ribs and it worked really well. Obviously this isn't a cow, this is a pig. That's where my mistake was. But honestly, it works really, really well. So we're just going to dry this surface a little bit. Some people don't bother taking this membrane off. I definitely do. Bit of kitchen roll so it doesn't slip out your fingers. Let's pull it off. Just pull it off, he says. Not today, Josephine. It doesn't look like there's too much to get off this. Obviously you don't want any bits hanging off the edges, like this big corner bit, that'll just burn, and this flappy bit. There's a big bit of extra fat down here, but apart from that, I'm happy. So we'll use a bit of wash your sister sauce as a binder. Binders don't really add much to the flavour, which means you can use just about anything you like. The one with the holy cow. This is, I had this on chicken. It does need a good shake. It does tend to bulk up a little bit. Yeah, I had it on chicken. And it was just that really nice blend of salt and pepper taste with a little bit of a kick. And it adds a nice bit of colour as well. Wash your sister sauce. Bloody hell. Is it chunks? She'll do. So what we'll do now is let this rub soak in for 20-30 minutes. You'll see the moisture start to come back out of the ribs and it'll all go nice and glistening and shiny. By then, the barbecue should be up to temperature. We'll whack it on for the first however many hours. Got a couple of nice chunks of cherry wood to go on the barbecue as well. Temperature's just over 250. I was aiming for 225, 250, or let's talk Celsius, shall we? We're aiming for roughly 120, what, 130? So I'm happy with that. Got the deflector plate in, water pan. Probably should have got a bigger water pan, but hey ho. And all we're going to do is just bunch them up a little bit so they sit higher, a bit chunkier. Now regarding methods, everyone seems to have a different opinion. And it's hard to know what to go with. The most popular is 3-2-1. You do it 3 hours smoked, unwrapped. Then you do it 2 hours smoked in foil with your choice of butter or sugar or honey or whatever. And then you do 1 hour unwrapped with a glaze on it to get that nice sticky glaze on top. First time I tried these, I did 2 hours unwrapped at about 250, 270 Fahrenheit. I know I keep talking Fahrenheit Celsius. It's hard to know what to do because when you follow all these Americans, they all talk Fahrenheit. Anyway, I then did 2 hours wrapped in foil with me honey and sugar and stuff. And then I did 30 minutes unwrapped and they were absolutely perfect. They would almost fall off the bone, but just had enough bite to keep them on, and they were stunning. I did this exact same thing on the second rack. they were undercooked. I'm gonna try 3, 2, 1. People do 6 hours unwrapped right the way through, start to beginning, and they work out really well. Just do what works for you. I'm just gonna do what works for me today. So it's now 4 o'clock. I'm gonna be eating late tonight. The dog's getting restless, so I'm gonna take him for a walk. Check on them in about 2.5 hours maybe. Siri, set timer for 6:30. 3 hours in. Got a little bit of peace and quiet because the dog's eating apples off the tree. I'm gonna give that another half an hour or so. Just want to get a bit dark around here. So what we've got here, honey, light brown sugar, ordinary salted butter. We're gonna go top side down. So all that just blends in nicely to the ribs. This foil is a really thick grade foil. It's from Costco. Wrap it up nice and tight. Double layer as well. So this is still going in. Top of the ribs facing down into the butter. So we'll give that another 2 hours maybe. Sheesh, it's 10 to 8. Siri, set timer for 2 hours. I definitely don't recommend waiting so late in the day to finish your ribs. But sometimes that's just life. You can't see that, but they look bloody good. So we're going to get a bit of Angus Oink Pit Boss barbecue sauce. Give that a good old brushing. Then we'll make a foil boat. And back on for 30 minutes. If I can offer you one tip when you're cooking ribs, don't start as late as I did. That's just fucking stupid. It's 11:15 at night. I pulled these off and I've rested them for about 15-20 minutes. They look really good. There's a possibility they might be a little bit too fall off the boney, but I don't mind that. I've got 2 tips for you. Number 1, don't leave your door open during the summer because this house is now full of flies and the dog's trying to catch them like a Venus flytrap. Number 2, don't start your rib cooking so late in the day because it's now 10 to 11 and these have just finished resting. There's a bone fell out here. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like him when they're falling off the bone. I do. Everyone's different, aren't they? But it's just... See the smoke in the meat there, the pink smoke? Really moist. Smoke's got around the edges there and there. Obviously, the lights are on because it's pitch black. But we're going to have a little munch at these. Never too late for ribs. They just don't fail. That barbecue sauce, Pit Boss Barbecue by Angus Oink, it's a bit thicker than the sweet bones and butts. It's a bit richer as well, and it clings to these ribs really nicely. And that Holy Cow by Meat Church gives it a really nice slightly peppery feel. £10 for a rack of ribs. As long as you cook them, not till it's nearly midnight. A great option for a nice, tasty, cheap barbecue. I'll see you next week, maybe. I've got plans to cook a few things anyway, so there's a chance you'll see me next week. See you later.